to have scrutiny on my opinions, it should be allowed, and it is something very genuine. And second thing, the chronology of facts we are proceeding in front of people, that these are the facts, as you said the example of Lord Ram. So when the
They are not lucid and clear about the actual meaning of freedom of speech, and that's why they are taking it to altogether a different level. And I really
Yeah, the same set of people are now saying, how can you make the movie? इस movie को तो ban कर देना चाहिए. So you cannot have,
you like the movie,
like,
go and
had
watch
I
it.
been tell you.
Hello, namaste, अस्सलाम वालेकुम to all of you. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. आज के पॉडकास्ट में एक और गेस्ट स्पीकर हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं और हमारी एक को होस्ट हमारे साथ जुड़ी हैं। सुकृति चक्रवर्ती हमारे साथ जुड़ी हैं, जो कि एक मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर हैं, और इस सेशन के लिए वो हमारे साथ को होस्ट की तरह रहेंगी, और आगे आने वाले सेशंस में भी आप उनको देखेंगे। एंड एज अ गेस्ट स्पीकर जामिन पंचाल सर ने हमें ज्वाइन किया है। ही इज रिसर्च एंड डिजिटल मीडिया कंसल्टेंट। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग।
Thank you for having me over here.
Thank you so much, Anika, for introducing. And I really find this a nice platform to, interact with people and discuss on, various topics. Looking forward to be here with you.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you for joining. So, Jamin Panchal sir and Sukriti, we will be discussing today freedom of speech. So, freedom of speech को अगर हम देखें, as per our society, it has so many spectrums. और हर एक इंडिविजुअल का अपना एक इंडिविजुअल स्टेटस है और इंडिविजुअल स्टांस है इस टॉपिक को लेके कि फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच व्हाट इज फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच। सो जामिन पचाल सर एज अ गेस्ट स्पीकर आए हैं आज। सो सर, पहला क्वेश्चन आपसे यही रहेगा कि हाउ डू यू सी, और आपका क्या स्टांस है फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच पे, और क्या सोचते हैं आप और कैसे देखते हैं एज पर द सोसाइटी और एज पर आर कंट्री। आप एज अ मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर भी रहे हैं। सो आपने अलग अलग तरीके से अलग अलग लोगों में देखा होगा या उनके साथ इंटरेक्ट किया होगा, या अलग अलग इंसिडेंट्स भी आपने देखे होंगे। सो व्हाट इज योर स्टांस ऑन दैट?
Okay, so before stating that what is freedom of speech and giving into the definition of it, I would say that many people having their own different definition of freedom of speech is the main problem in itself. Having clarity of single freedom of speech definition is the need of an hour. So even in the UN resolution and everything, the freedom of right to freedom of speech or freedom of expression is very crystal and clear. It's to speak without any hindrance. And this, I'm not giving you a verbatim definition. I'm giving you an interpretation of it, and it's not a biased interpretation. It's like जो समझने वाली बात है कि आपको जो कहना है आप कह सकते हो बिना किसी डर के या बिना किसी दबाव के. There are very various qualification to it which we will discuss. Now coming back to Indian society, so इंडियन लीगल टर्म्स में या तो इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल टर्म्स में भी यही है कि यू कैन स्पीक विदाउट फियर एंड इंटिमिडेशन. हाउएवर उन्होंने एक प्रॉब्लम ऐड कर दी है व्हिच इज कॉल्ड एज रीजनेबल रेस्ट्रिक्शंस. नाउ दिस इज वेयर many people have different definition of freedom of speech, which is our problem. मतलब आइडियली फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच का मतलब हर किसी के लिए एक ही होना चाहिए. अलग अलग लोगों के लिए अलग अलग होगा तो प्रॉब्लम होती है. So we can take this further in our gradual discussion. But to answer your question, freedom of speech is to speak without fear, without intimidation across the channel. Uh, Ideally, it should not be any restriction except for calling of direct violence. However, in Indian constitutional terms, there are reasonable restrictions. So it's just like there are many freedom of speech activists. We are trying to speak about that. There should be clarification of what this reasonable restriction is. हम क्लियर करो. जैसे बहुत सारी चीजों में होता है डूज एंड डोंट्स. तो डूज भी क्लियर होते हैं, डोंट्स भी क्लियर होते हैं. हम आपको कहेंगे आपको ये करने की आजादी है लेकिन आप कुछ चीजें नहीं कर सकते हो. और कुछ क्या है वो मैं वक्त आने पे बताऊंगा. अब जो वक्त आने पे बताऊंगा तो वो क्या सीजन के हिसाब से चेंज हो जाती है. एंड यू आर ऑलवेज इन डायलेमा दैट वेदर आई एम इन कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट या वेदर आई एम डूइंग समथिंग क्रिमिनल बिकॉज वो कुछ आपको कभी समझाया ही नहीं गया है.
Correct.
तो दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम.
Absolutely. So I would like to ask you one thing. So as you said, like freedom of speech is all about talking like without fear. So do you think that everyone has this to use this right? equally, like they can use it in a same aspect? Like what you think, like in, I'm talking about a generic scenario, not only about social media or media or any cases, but do you think it is equal for each and everyone? Because it should be equal, but I just wanted to know from you that how you think it is going in this current scenario.
Answer is in your question, it should be. Now, the problem here comes with the term reasonable restriction, which I just spoke about. And
Right.
that's where having a strong law and administration enforcing it is very much important. In
Absolutely.
India, what are we seeing is that if there is a बहुत बार कहा जाता है कि भीड़ का कोई चेहरा नहीं होता. So they use this as a ransom, and that's when they push and they assert to trample someone's right. Ideally, everyone has the right to speak, and it is job of government, and not just the government, police, administration, everyone, to see the right been given to the individual citizen has been protected till the time that particular person is not calling for direct violence. So,
Absolutely.
as we have seen, there has been various instances, and then a religious community or a certain community, and this has been across,
Hmm.
that they come out and say that our feelings have been offended, even if something is spoken as a fact. Lekin
Right.
then they come down, restore, they break the law and equilibrium in the society by doing riots, communal disharmony, and everything. And police then uses the claw of blasphemy or of this 295A criminal section. He or she has offended people और उसको jail में डाल दिया. So ideally, till the time person has not committed a direct call of violence, they should be allowed to speak. In Indian scenario, we have made a certain amount of progress. Still, there is a huge thing to gain to get a certain kind of equilibrium, because currently in Indian society there is no equilibrium. Right now, street power is trampling individuals' freedom of speech, or for that matter, any other rights.
Absolutely. Totally agreeing, because
So
what.
basically,
Yeah, Anika, please.
yes, please continue, Sukriti.
Yeah, so I was telling, totally agreeing, because as you said that it should not lead to violence, and absolutely, because I don't find that anyone freedom should be used in such a way that it leads to some violent activity. Because if this is our right which has been provided to us by the constitution, I don't think that this should create violence. But nowadays, people get confused with it, as you said. Yeah, there should be part of every person to explain this in a correct manner. So yeah, I totally agree what you said, and I think we should take it in that way forward. Over to you, Anika. Yeah.
Just a sec before Anika
Yeah.
said,
So
just a reference to what you said, Sukriti, when you said it should not lead or it should not create, and here that's where the problem comes. It's not about the listener's interpretation. If I say something
Hmm.
and I explain it correctly, and if the listener
Hmm.
interprets it wrongly and commits an action, then it's wrong.
Hmm.
Then, you cannot, we cannot be saying that why did the speaker said something. If I say that I like red roses, that doesn't, it cannot be interpreted that all the lotus or all the other jasmine flowers should be eradicated. Like as we said,
Absolutely.
that utilizing the beholder. So until and unless I say cut this tree, or saying anything to call for a direct violence, until and unless and explicitly I have said, I should be allowed to say anything. And
Absolutely.
adding to it, I should be backing up with it. I cannot leave that open. Yeah, that's about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
that means freedom of speech is directly, or I can say it is interdependent on public order as well. We should consider public order, and as written in the constitution, freedom of speech, right to expression, or a right to freedom of speech is not absolute. There are some limitations. So these limitations are like ये उस response में है, public order के response में. Is it what you are trying to say?
See, no,
Or
no.
how
See,
much
public
you
order
are
response.
hmm,
Okay. See, Anika, public order is responsibility of government, or for that
okay.
matter, law administration. I am not responsible to it until and unless I am party of dismantling them. Till the time my saying, as I told you, that like my if my saying is interpreted in a wrong way and someone commits a crime, I cannot be held responsible to it until and unless I have explicitly gave an
Absolutely.
call to do that crime.
Exactly.
So public order, see, everyone, each and every person should behave responsibly. That I completely agree with, which it is our duty. But this cannot be used to curtail or trample someone's right to speak.
Hmm.
Like for that matter, if I say if there is a certain religious leader, or if so, like on social media there is sports celebrities, or like Bollywood cinema celebrities, they have mad following.
Hmm.
So they have their feelings attached to it. So can I not criticize a particular sports celebrity? Can I not criticize a movie industry
Hmm.
celebrity? Can I not question and rightfully? Obviously I can. अब मुझे ये बात का तो डर नहीं दियाना चाहिए ना कि अगर मैंने किसी एक पर्टिकुलर एक्टर या लेडी एक्टर के ऊपर बोला और पब्लिक ऑर्डर हो जाएगा तो आई शुड नॉट स्पीक. दिस इज एंटी फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच.
Hmm.
Correct.
पब्लिक ऑर्डर हार्म ना हो, वो जिम्मेदारी मेरी नहीं है, वो पुलिस की है, सरकार की है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की है. हाँ, जब तक मैं ना बोलूं कि अच्छा आपको उस फलां घर के तोड़ देना चाहिए या आप उसको
Hmm.
उसको
To
उसका
call
ट्रैवल
for
मूवमेंट
violence.
अटका दो, जब तक मेरी
Yes.
To
Yes.
call
Yes.
for violence.
am I audible?
Yeah. Yeah.
या
You audible.
जब
Yes,
तक
yes,
वो
you're
नहीं,
audible.
या जब तक वो नहीं है, we should not be afraid of speaking, or we should not be afraid saying that am I causing public disorder. You are not, till the time you are
Hmm.
not calling for a direct violence.
Exactly. But at times, what happens in our society, there are so many people under the garb of this freedom of speech. They said our freedom of speech is being curtailed.
Ah.
Let's say, for example, there were so many journalists. One among them, he was carrying grenades in his bag. Later, he was sent behind bars. So that person or his gang can't say later that मेरी freedom of speech को
This is
curtail किया गया.
अब ग्रेनेड इन इटसेल्फ इज अ कॉल फॉर वायलेंस, तो
Exactly.
मतलब वो तो वहीं पे आ जाता है. मतलब
So
सी
to
Yeah.
पॉइंट
get
इज आई
some
कैन नॉट
traction,
पॉइंट ना.
we can discuss this like as a that to get some traction that a specific area or a specific kind of people they are being harassed. Knowing that उस चीज को पीछे कर देना कि the actual thing is this person या जो जिसको जेल में डाला गया है उसने ग्रेनेड्स कैरी किए थे. तो उस चीज को बचाने के लिए इस सिनेरियो से ओवरशैडो किया जाता है कि उस एरिया के लोगों को ही हरास किया जाता है. So what is your response to such incidents? उन incidents को as individuals or as responsible citizens, how can we react to them?
See, like in fact, like this had to be my answer. आपका question, मतलब this has been perfect thing that you are actually saying that to identify and look specifics rather than generalizing. This is a perfect observation. This is what every individual should do. Now you cannot generalize everything like कि सबको एक चीज में नहीं रख सकते हो. You need to identify. You have beautifully said it, and that's how it should be done. For example, there are like since you talk about spoken about journalists, I would take to another like others liberals, or for that matter the creative freedom, the writers and everything. So they say that I have freedom to write anything, which they
Absolutely.
have. My
Hmm.
only point is that then each and every individual should also be open to scrutiny, and they have a responsibility, moral, ethical, and to an extent legal, that they should explain this by valid supportive, that what they have said and why they have said. Until it's like right now, I'll just right now it's 7 p.m. in the India. It would be in your states as well because we're not far off. But suddenly I say that नहीं, मेरे यहाँ तो मुंबई में तो अभी 8:30 बजे हुए हैं. And if Anika comes and says, but Jamin, how? I
Correct.
cannot say that Anika is trolling me and Anika is curtailing my freedom of speech, because how can she question?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You questioning, you scrutinizing me is not anti freedom of speech. And this is where Indian liberals, that Lutein gangs and everything, they have vitiated the way the
Absolutely.
word liberalism, the way the word secularism has been vitiated for their vested interest. They have also vitiated this freedom of
Interested.
speech word because they don't want to be scrutinized. That's where the problem is.
Scrutinized.
So now
Exactly.
coming back to your previous example, that see journalists have a right to question people. They do take it that being journalist is to be anti-establishment. I may or may not agree, but that's a different debate, and we shall have it some other time. But like over here, when
Hmm.
journalist is arrested in your example, so he was arrested for a criminal activity as a criminal and not for being a journalist,
Absolutely.
not for questioning government. So this cannot be clubbed
Hmm.
as journalist has been arrested. It's like a criminal, a supposed terrorist is arrested, who incidentally
Hmm.
was a journalist.
Has hided
Absolutely.
himself under the garb of journalism also.
Exactly. So that person cannot be clubbed in the list of the journalists been arrested, if at all,
Hmm.
for questioning the state government, central government, because there has been certain arrests, be it in Maharashtra, be it in West Bengal by previous government, this government. There was one
Hmm.
professor in West Bengal who was been arrested for forwarding a cartoon on Mamata Banerjee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now this journalist carrying a grenade cannot be clubbed with this person. इसने कार्टून ड्रॉ किया, उसकी उसी की कैटेगरी में ये ग्रेनेड वाले को भी डाल दिया, नहीं, दोनों अलग है. एक क्रिमिनल है, एक इनोसेंट है. So this difference we have to make it, and we have to take it
Exactly.
accordingly.
Absolutely.
In fact,
Absolutely. And
trolling somebody on social media, I remember the incident of the then finance minister P. Chidambaram. His son Karti Chidambaram. He was accused by a lady or I think a male. और उन्होंने उनके टाइमलाइन पे लिखा दैट जो भी आपके पास वेल्थ है दिस इज नॉट अ लीगल वेल्थ एंड ही वाज अरेस्टेड दैट पर्सन वाज अरेस्टेड लेटर सो देन अ स्टूडेंट अप्रोच टू सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड फाइल्ड अ केस दैट कि क्या एक इंसान को आर्टिकल इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ये हक नहीं देता है कि वो अपनी फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को एक्सरसाइज करे जस्ट एक बंदा किसी लीडर का या पॉलिटिकल फिगर का बेटा है तो क्या उसको अक्यूज नहीं किया जा सकता ही हैज शेयर्ड हिज पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू अगर वो नहीं है ही शुड नॉट बी सेंट बिहाइंड बार्स जस्ट बिकॉज किसी पॉलिटिकल फिगर को उसने चैलेंज किया है तो ये
and
लोगों की
yeah,
उस राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को कर्टेल करता है like you said
correct.
scrutiny
Over here,
should be allowed.
I just want to
so
add one
Anika, over
point
here,
here.
sure,
Yeah, I
sure.
just want to add one point here. So what Anika said, I would recall a same incidents which happened in my state. I would not take the name of the lady politician who's same kind as Jemin said, that a cartoon was done, and that guy, that boy being a 21 years boy, was dragged from his home, and he was put behind the bars. So again, these all incidences, I think, as Jemin explained very nicely, that there should be a scrutiny. Like, we can't keep people at par. A person who is carrying a grenade cannot be kept at par at trolling someone on SM, or drawing a cartoon or something like that. But where is that a borderline, and who decides that? That I totally can't understand, that how can people do that thing to keep
So,
people at par.
so I
Yeah.
will I will reply to Anika and Sukriti separately. But now, Anika, when you question this, so now when I say scrutiny, there are two things to this. First of all, saying some like for the record, I am not in favor of the Congress as a party or the ideology. So I don't I have no, I have my well
Hmm.
established bias against Congress. However, when I say the reason I'm saying
Hmm.
is because my answer might feel few people will wonder कि ये क्या बोल रहा है, क्यों बोल रहा है. So now my point is, he was not having a point of view. The person who wrote on the Twitter, he was alleging
Hmm.
he was
Yeah.
alleging that the
Hmm.
person has got ill-gotten wealth or something. I have not read the tweet verbatim, but something that I get sense of it. So see, it cannot be a point of view. It is an allegation. Many people confuse opinion, view, or something. No,
Hmm.
boss. Opinion, view, and facts. They are three different things. I can
Absolutely.
have an opinion that evening is the best part of the day because it's a subjective.
Hmm.
You might feel
Correct.
morning is the best part of the day. Now that's your point of view and opinion.
Hmm.
But facts that okay, the person he's a criminal by taking bribe. Now that cannot be a point of view. It's like,
Hmm.
either you back it up with a proof or you cannot say it.
Hmm.
That cannot be an opinion. If you
Hmm.
say that he has gotten ill-gotten wealth,
Hmm.
Hmm.
then the person should prove it. How he is saying that?
Hmm.
I alleging someone of a criminal activity
Hmm.
cannot be my opinion.
Exactly.
I need to back that what I'm saying, that oh सामने वाला चोर है बदमाश है तो मैं प्रूव करना पड़ेगा. Over here the
Absolutely.
scrutiny is on the
Hmm.
person who is writing the tweet. While I agree that
Hmm.
putting him in the jail was wrong thing, was an outrage and flexing of the power. But over here there are two different cases in a single statement. एक ये गलत है कि उसको जेल
Hmm.
में डाला गया. There was an extra use of law and everything because there are loopholes into it.
Hmm.
I completely agree to it. He should not be put into jail. He could
Hmm.
be questioned or something. Second part is a person who is writing has to be responsible for what he or she is writing. I
Hmm.
cannot be alleging
Exactly.
someone of a wrongdoing and saying यार ये तो मुझे लगता है.
Hmm.
मुझे लगता है तो फिर तो सबको सब कुछ लगता है.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
But
And
just because of that case and one another case, IT Act was declared null and void in I think 2013 or 2015.
It was in 2015, I guess, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and
Yes.
coming back to this, so
But
that's where
these two
so
cases were
those
involved
aspects
in that.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so point is now
I would
here
like to
it
add
is a
something. So,
judicial.
yeah, yeah,
Now
please do.
this is a
Yeah,
judicial problem. This is a judicial problem.
Hmm.
correct.
This is not a freedom of speech. So over here, there has to be a judicial reform or a police reform,
Hmm.
so that multiple interpretation of law or
Hmm.
misinterpretation of law does not happen. We cannot
Absolutely.
Hmm.
add this as an addendum to freedom of speech. वहां पे जज ने गलती करी या नहीं करी अपने जजमेंट देने में, या तो फिर पुलिस ने आउटरीच होके और एक्स्ट्रा जीलस होके उसको अरेस्ट किया जो गलत है, वो इट्स अगेन अ सेपरेट डिबेट.
Hmm.
It does not come in the spectrum of freedom of speech.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And like
Yes,
agreeing to
Sukriti.
what you said, because see, it's a very voluminous term, and if there is no clear definition, as you said, that we can't add addendum or we can't add anything. यही ये जो लोगों को लगता है, that is the most, I think, heinous things which is killing the actual verge of what freedom of speech is, because people are not knowing they are not lucid and clear about the actual meaning of freedom of speech, and that's why they are taking it to altogether a different level. And I really support, and really what you said, that there are facts which should be there. You like
Hmm.
evening, I like morning, or suppose you like some other city I don't like, that doesn't account that I am trolling or I am against or I am doing anything which is not giving me as my constitutional right
Hmm.
or something. Because see, we individual human being, everyone has made us different. Suppose there is a new trend which came, like adding Cadbury to pizza, I feel it as yuck and awful. Someone might like it, so I don't think these kind of things adds to any meaning. But yeah, there are people jinko lagta hai, and they take it to altogether a different level, so can't
Yeah,
help for that.
adding to it, to what you said, again emphasizing. See, most of the problem ideally should get solved when we understand the meaning and the differences between what is called as point of view slash opinion
Hmm.
Absolutely.
and what is facts. Like a opinion is a subjective thing, a fact is an objective thing. Facts cannot
Hmm.
change. Opinion point of view can
You can
change.
change. Hmm.
So most of the time people to avoid getting scrutinized, they say ये मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ नहीं बॉस, ये तुम्हारा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू नहीं हो सकता, आप कुछ
Hmm.
फैक्ट बोल रहे हो.
Hmm.
Just to give you a very basic example, and I'll just leave it as an example rather than to get into more discussion onto it.
Hmm.
Like there are certain leftists,
Hmm.
just to create an issue, they
Hmm.
say that Lord Ram killed a Dalit king Ravan and this, that, and everything. However, they don't know that actually, and they call it Brahminical patriarchy and this and that.
Hmm.
Now, this cannot be point of view, this cannot be opinion, because
Hmm.
Ravan, in fact, was a Brahmin and Lord Ram was a Kshatriya. ना उनके
Hmm.
फैक्ट्स ही गलत है तो उनको काउंटर किया जाएगा. So they
Hmm.
cannot say कि ये
Exactly.
मेरा ओपिनियन है तो you cannot, like, so if a particular like Hindu believing person says that boss your facts are
Hmm.
wrong, that cannot be
Hmm.
said that that person's freedom of speech is curtailed or he or she has been trolled, because he should be open for that scrutiny, and if he has said certain things, such thing, then
Hmm.
he should back it up with the facts. That is not something like post truth or something. So this is what I'm saying, that facts ko or opinion ko alag. He may not like Lord Ram, he is totally okay, I'm totally okay with it as a Hindu. आपको नहीं
Hmm.
पसंद है, नहीं पसंद है, आई एम ओके विद इट, यू मे नॉट लाइक इट, यू मे नॉट वर्शिप इट, बट
Hmm.
फिर आप उसके पैरामीटर्स चेंज कर दोगे कि उसकी कास्ट चेंज करके, जस्ट बिकॉज यू वांट टू पैडल सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ अ हेट्रेड. I do agree that we discuss
Hmm.
upon that. We won't be taking the religious discussion. This is basically not a discussion person, but an example that यहाँ ये
Hmm.
opinion ने ये
Hmm.
misrepresentation of facts है to create a disharmony.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, by this discussion, we got 2 points here. First is we should have the clarity on things. What is freedom of speech actually? What is allegation actually? What is my point of view? And to have scrutiny on my opinions, it should be allowed, and it is something very genuine. And second thing, the chronology of facts we are giving, we are proceeding in front of people that these are the facts, as you said the example of Lord Ram. So when the chronology of facts is wrong, how can we claim that my that freedom of speech is being curtailed? You cannot ask me. So we have to focus on facts as well. That the facts जो है वो उनकी chronology एक alignment में चल रही है. If that is not in the alignment, that is not freedom of speech being curtailed. You will be questioned.
That's right.
Okay, final एक question मैं आपसे पूछूंगी that there are two things now: freedom of speech and boycott culture. Can the both things, freedom of speech and boycott culture, can go hand in hand?
Certainly. Actually, I have two things. Like, this is my interpretation, and this is generally I speak to that. See, freedom of speech has right to offend. As in, I can like I have right to offend someone. That is my freedom of speech until and unless I'm not calling for violence. Similarly, उसका जैसे मैथ्स में corollary होता है कि if A is equal to B, then corollary is B is equal to A. So if there is
Equal
a
to.
right to offend, then I also have right to be offended. To say that,
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't like your joke, I didn't like what you said. To say
Hmm.
this is not anti-freedom of speech. So right to get offended and to react in a civil and under the legal term is also freedom of speech. Boycott is a very individualistic, or it could be a group thing, is totally legal. And I'm sorry for being repetitive and sorry to your audience, but it's very important to say that within the legal way and no call for violence.
Hmm.
I don't like certain story, I don't like certain things, I may call for a boycott. यार ये गंदा चीजें नहीं देखना है.
Hmm.
People will use their own intelligence to see or not see, to you
Exactly.
to believe me or not believe me.
Not
Till the
believe me.
time I am not saying that there should be criminal act on the theaters or the booksellers or the person who has made it, I am within my right to call for a boycott. Because it's like,
Absolutely.
जैसे प्रमोशन करने का हक है, जो मूवी बनाता है वो प्रमोट ही करते हैं कि आओ मेरी मूवी देखो. उसका
Hmm.
कॉरलरी, मुझे मूवी पसंद नहीं, मत जाओ मूवी देखने. Both in
Hmm.
सही बात
legal
है.
terms,
Exactly.
both not calling for violence.
Exactly.
Just to give an example, like, until, for the creative freedom, the liberal people used to say when certain movies were made, and Indian societies used to say that ये movie हमारी आस्था को आहत करती है, this that. So what was the answer from the liberals? That you see the movie, if you don't like it, don't see the movie. There is something called as creative freedom. Now,
Correct.
when the or they used to say कि हमने हमारी कहानी बताई, आप अपनी कहानी बताओ.
कहानी बताओ.
Hmm.
So now, in
Right.
recently, there has been couple of movies that were being made.
Hmm. Now the
Now
same
the
liberals.
same set of, yeah, the same set of people are now saying, how can you make the movie? इस movie को तो ban कर देना चाहिए. So you cannot have,
You like the movie,
like,
go and
had
watch.
I
You don't
been
like
tell
it,
you.
go stay back
Yeah.
Absolutely.
home.
Absolutely.
At the time when they were making the movies with whatever creative freedom, so if they wanted that right, so these people also has the right.
Hmm.
Banning is more like a government thing, which,
Hmm.
like, I will leave it up to judiciary and administration.
Exactly.
Boycott is well
That
within the
should be
right of
leave to
individual
judiciary and
and
people if they want to see or not.
no, no, banning is a government and a legal right.
Government thing. Hmm.
Boycott is a individual and a community. We need to
Community.
segregate this.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I can call for a boycott. I cannot ban something, ban the
Ban
government.
something. कर सकती हैं.
Call for a boycott. So boycott is very much within the realm of freedom of speech.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Sukriti, you want to ask anything else regarding this
Yeah, I
topic?
would. No, I think we are pretty much clear what we had a discussion, and agreeing to what he said is like I would like to add one more thing. Like, see, people have different opinions. See, he gave an example that earlier those people used to say that if you want to see, it's your total freedom. I don't understand that why do people change their thoughts? Okay, I can't control their mouth or I can't control their mind, but when you are
It's
using
because
certain things, yeah,
to just I'm sorry to cut you, but why do they do this simple thing? Because it is called as equation of convenience.
Hmm.
absolutely.
मेरे
I was
लिए
going
तब वो
to.
मूवी कन्वीनियंट थी, मेरे लिए आज ये मूवी इनकन्वीनियंट है, तो आई वुड लुक फॉर the
I
space
was
where it
going
is
to.
Convenient plan.
simple for me. So it's like
I,
equation of convenience. That is
Convenient.
why they change, and they see again. As I tell you again, like as my one of the last words, like freedom of uh, speech is more with like a principle. Like principles are universal. Anything else can change by the season. A principle cannot be changed. A principle cannot change. So that's where we have to look that freedom of speech क्या है. आपने किसी को वायलेंस के लिए नहीं उकसाया डायरेक्ट. आपका वो हक बनता है.
Hmm.
आपको बिना डरे आप किसी भी प्लेटफॉर्म पे बोल सकते हो, कुछ भी बोल सकते हो. लेकिन जो भी आप कुछ बोल रहे हो उसको आप बैक करने की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आपकी होती है.
आपको
आपने ये
आपकी
नहीं कि
होती है.
मैंने बोल दिया मैंने चल दिया. अब आप लोग
Hmm.
इसका इंटरप्रिटेशन करते रहो. यू कैन नॉट आस्क मी. So these are the
yes,
pretty simple and straight thing which every
absolutely.
individual understands. And at the
Correct.
same thing, at this is more at a philosophical way that if someone abuses you and मैंने लिया नहीं तो मेरे पास आया, so you don't like, you don't react, that's a total different thing. But people do have right to offend, abuse, mock, insult individual, cult, religion, religious people, celebrities, everyone till the time there is no call for violence. Yes, it is their moral and ethical that अगर उन्होंने बोला तो क्यों बोला, कैसे बोला, उनको समझाने की जिम्मेदारी है. They cannot just say and walk away.
Correct, absolutely. And
Fine.
just to add on, I'll add a very funny thing which I like, heard in my childhood. They used to say that nature and signature of a person doesn't change, but now in digital world, even signature changes. So, adding to that convenience of equation, people change their thought now and then. So there is no, I would say, there is no morale. There is no certain, because if this is clear, like what Jemin said, like if the people are having their morale, their equation in the mind clear, I think, Anika, freedom of speech will be very very simple and very lucid term to take forward, and there will be no chaos and there will be no discussions over it. And if it is not taken in the sense, and if people are using it in any way they want, molding according to the situation, then the confusion will definitely arise.
Absolutely true. And
Hmm.
I would like to conclude this session with something came across in Rig Vedas. It is written in Rig Vedas. Its meaning is कि let all the criticism come to your way. And if you want to mark a protest against something you don't like, write a critical review with your
Correct.
factual data. That's what we discussed. So something we
See,
हम
Absolutely.
लोग जो
see,
अपनी जो
you
प्राचीनता
go,
है
go, go
अपने
on.
देश की उसको नहीं पढ़ते हैं and we jump onto conclusions suddenly. So at times we should keep
Uh,
ourselves, okay, I don't like this, I will write a critical review as per my uh, understanding. But that too I should understand कि मैं क्या लिख रहा हूँ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, over to you, Jamin bhai.
no, I see, completely agree with it. And to be honest enough, like, that this particular aspect of Rigveda I was not aware. So thank you for letting me know. So, second thing, see, like this would be more of a repetition to my previous conclusion that I said that until and unless there is no call for violence and until the time I'm open to scrutiny and discussion, everything should be
Exactly.
fine. And if there is law and order problem, then it is for the police and the administration to handle. And just on a lighter note and lighter come serious note, Sukriti, people thoughts does change with more and more information come, and we should be open to changing our thoughts
Hmm.
till the time we credibly
Thought.
accept it and we don't change it depending upon it. Like to start with, like a decade back, I was not so open with freedom of speech. I used to be biased with my opinions too. कि
Hmm.
मुझे बोलने की आजादी, ये ऐसा कैसा बोल सकता है. But over a
Hmm.
period of time, I heard many people, I read, and now I am come to this stage. Over, still I'm not freedom of speech absolutist. I do want to get to that level of understanding and everything. So yes, that has been transition by listening to more. But the
More.
principles doesn't change until the time I my thoughts have changed and I stand and I explain how it has changed. And then I don't revert back with the change of situation. It's fairly acceptable.
Correct. And adding what you said, totally agree. What Anika said about Rig Veda. See, the main problem I feel among the youths is they just read the headline or the bulletin. They don't go with the behind story or the facts and all. So they just,
Flow of the
have this
story.
thing.
They
Yeah,
don't think it.
absolutely, absolutely. They have this thinking this is freedom of speech and it is coming as a term, but they don't know what is the actual thought process behind it. And starting from the conversation, you have been telling that facts are important, scrutiny is important. So if I am saying something correct and mere piche I have the backlog of facts supporting me, so I should not be bothered about anything which I have spoken, because every individual, अगर उनके मुंह से कोई बात निकल रही है, so it should be supported by fact. Unless and until there is no facts and you are not able to get ready for scrutiny, I think then we should zip it off. Absolutely.
You're completely right.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for this fruitful session, this delightful session, and I think सारे aspects को हमने choose किया और उन पर discussion किया. I would like to invite you more and more in my sessions, Jamin sir, and Sukriti को आप लोग देखते ही रहेंगे आगे आने वाले sessions में. So Jamin bhai, thank you so much for joining
Thank
and
you.
इतने busy schedules से हमारे लिए time निकालने के लिए. Thank you Sukriti
Absolutely.
for
Thanks a lot,
being
Jamin.
the co-host and adding your
No, no
points to this
Thank you for
worries.
session.
inviting
And
me.
No worries, Anika. It was a great having, and thanks to Jamin that you were there and you made us clear with all the points and factual. In fact, I wish ki every people start thinking in this way, then there will be no trolling. There will be no, there will be no point of. There
Trolling
will be
is
no.
also freedom of speech.
freedom of speech.
Get again, get again. So I wish we will have various fruitful sessions ahead. And thank you so much, Jamin, for
Sure.
being the part of this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you for
Thanks.
Thank you
inviting.
so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.